Have you ever wondered how weather predictions, games, sports analysis, and even casinos use mathematics to predict outcomes? Today we are going to master probability in the easiest and most visual way possible in this explainer.
Welcome, guys. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? Probability, at its core, is simply the mathematics of measuring uncertainty. It's literally how we use math to predict how likely an event is to actually happen. So whether you're gearing up for your Class 10 board exams, or honestly, if you just want to understand the hidden math that basically governs our entire world, you're in the right place. We're going to break this whole thing down step by step so you can visualize exactly how it all works.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the core probability formula, look at types of events, cover complementary and advanced rules, actually solve some board exam examples together, and finally wrap up with real-world applications, tricks, and mistakes.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the core probability formula.
Right, so here is the absolute golden rule of probability. It is always, and I mean always, a number that sits perfectly between 0 and 1. That's the rule. A probability of exactly 0 means an event is completely impossible, like humans naturally flying without airplanes. Just not going to happen, right? On the flip side, a probability of 1 means an event is absolutely certain, like the sun rising tomorrow. Literally every other prediction, every chance, every maybe falls somewhere on that line between 0 and 1.
So, the big question, how do we actually calculate exactly where on that line an event falls? Well, here's your most important formula for the day. P of E, which just stands for the probability of an event equals N of E divided by N of S. Now, don't let the letters scare you. The crucial thing here is just understanding these two parts. The top number, those are your favorable outcomes. That's the specific result you actually want to happen. And the bottom number, that's your total possible outcomes. Basically, every single thing that could possibly happen in that scenario.
Let's look at this in action with, the most classic example ever, tossing a fair coin. If you want to find the probability of getting heads, you just plug it straight into our formula. Okay, how many favorable outcomes are there? Just one, right? Heads. And how many total possible outcomes are there? Well, 2. Heads and tails. So 1 divided by 2 equals 0.5. Simple as that. Your probability of getting heads is exactly halfway between 0 and 1.
Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, let's keep that momentum going and jump straight into Section 2, types of events.
Because let's face it, not all probability scenarios are as basic as a single coin toss. In math, an event is really just an outcome, or a group of outcomes from an experiment, and we basically classify them into two main types. First, you have a simple event. This contains only one single outcome. For instance, if you roll a standard die and you want to get exactly a 4, there's only one way that happens. Boom, simple event. But then you have compound events. These contain multiple outcomes. Say you want to roll an even number. Well, suddenly your favorable outcomes include a 2, a 4, and a 6. It's a whole group of possibilities rather than just the one.
Understanding that distinction is absolutely key, because it brings us directly to Section 3, complementary and advanced rules.
Now, this is where things get really fascinating, and honestly where exam questions love to test your logic. First up, we have the complementary event. I know it sounds super complex, but it's actually incredibly easy. A complementary event is simply the probability of an event not happening. The formula is P of A prime equals 1 minus P of A. Look, because the absolute maximum probability is 1, you literally just subtract the chance of it happening from 1. So, if your local weather forecast says the probability of rain today is 0.3, the complementary chance of no rain is just 1 minus 0.3, which is 0.7. See? Piece of cake.
But what happens when multiple events start interacting with each other? Okay, let's talk about the addition rule. You use this when you want to find the probability of either event A or event B occurring. You basically just add their probabilities together. But hey, notice that little subtraction part at the very end? You have to subtract the overlapping middle section so you don't accidentally double count those outcomes. Now, for independent events happening together, like flipping 2 coins in a row, that's when you use the multiplication rule. You just take the probability of the first, say 1/2, and multiply it by the probability of the second, also 1/2. And there you go, you get 1/4.
All right, so now that we have our toolkit of formulas totally built up, it's time to put them to the real test. Moving on to Section 4, solving board exam examples.
Let's look at a perfect step-by-step exam method you can use every single time. Imagine your test paper asks, find the probability of getting a number greater than 4 when rolling a die. Okay, step 1, always identify your total outcomes first. A die has 6 faces, so total outcomes equals 6. Step 2, Identify your favorable outcomes. Numbers greater than 4? Well, that's just 5 and 6, which means we have exactly 2 favorable outcomes. Step 3. Apply the formula. 2 divided by 6, which simplifies perfectly down to 1/3. Writing it out in these distinct, clear steps, it shows the examiner exactly how your brain works and guarantees you get those maximum marks.
Let's try another one. This is a total classic board exam favorite, drawing cards. Find the probability of drawing an ace from a standard deck. All right, step 1, how many total cards in a deck? 52. Step 2, how many favorable outcomes? Well, we know there are 4 aces in a deck. Step 3, plug it straight into the formula, 4 divided by 52. And hey, do not forget to simplify. Both of these numbers divide by 4, giving us a final simplified probability of 1 out of 13. Honestly, guys, if you just stick to this simple 3-step process, you will rarely, if ever, make a mistake. You've absolutely mastered the formulas and the problem-solving steps now. So to wrap this whole thing up, let's jump into Section 5, Applications, Tricks, and Mistakes.
Look, mathematics isn't just some abstract thing that lives on a dusty chalkboard. It literally governs our reality. The exact same rules you just learned today, they're used by meteorologists predicting crazy storms, analysts calculating a sports team's chances of winning, and insurance companies figuring out financial risk. In business, in medicine, in gaming, probability is quite literally everything. In fact, modern artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, they use probability incredibly heavily to process massive amounts of data and make real-time decisions. It is huge.
But before you go out there and start predicting the future, let's quickly cover the most common traps students fall into during exams. Please do not make these mistakes. Number 1, miscounting the total outcomes. Huge bummer. Number 2, ending up with a probability greater than 1. Listen to me, if your answer is 1.5, stop, you did something wrong. Number 3, putting the total outcomes on top of the fraction instead of the bottom. Number 4, using the addition rule when you really should have used multiplication for independent events. And finally, leaving your fractions unsimplified. Examiners absolutely hate that, so always simplify.
So instead of making those mistakes, use these exam tricks to just guarantee your points. First, make it a solid habit to always write your total outcomes first. It basically anchors your entire calculation. Second, if a question is super confusing, just take a second and visually draw out the sample space on your paper. It helps so much. Third, clearly write out the P of E formula before you start plugging any numbers in. Always pause to check if events are independent. And of course, just like probability can never be greater than 1, remember, it can never ever be negative. All right, as a final gift to you before your exams, here is your ultimate quick revision summary. Seriously, take a mental snapshot of these 4 formulas right now. You've got the core formula for your basics, the complementary formula for when things do not happen, the addition rule for your either-or scenarios, and the multiplication rule for those independent events. Memorize these 4 simple rules, and you basically have the key to unlocking any probability question they could possibly throw at you in Class 10.
Which kind of leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to ponder. If probability is the true backbone of artificial intelligence, and AI is getting wildly smarter every single day, could math eventually predict the future with absolute certainty? Or will there always be just a little bit of true uncertainty left in the world? Think about that for a second. If this explainer helped you understand probability easily, then like the explainer, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Let's make math simple and fun together. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.